However, various conditions of water bodies manifest themselves primarily in the visible wavelength. The energy matter interaction at this wavelengths are very complex and depend on the number of interrelated factors. Um, Various type of interrelated factors. For example, this is just an example, not the exact condition. Just an example. The reflectance from a water body can stem from an interaction with the water surface, a specular reflection, with material suspended in water, or with the bottom surface of the water body. Even in deep water where bottom effects are negligible, the reflectance properties of a water body are not only a function of water but also of the material in the water. As you can see in the image which I have provided you. The clear water absorbs relatively less energy, having wavelengths shorter than 0.6 micrometer. Higher transmission Higher transmittance typifies this wavelength with a maximum in the blue-green portion of the spectrum. However, as the turbidity of the water changes because of the presence of organic or inorganic material, transmittance and therefore reflectance changes dramatically. For example, water bodies containing large quantities of suspended sediments normally have much higher visible reflectance than clear water. Likewise, the reflectance of water changes with the chlorophyll concentration involved. Increase in chlorophyll concentration tends to decrease reflectance in blue wavelength and increase reflectance in green wavelengths. These changes have been used in remote sensing to monitor the presence and to estimate the concentration of algae. Reflectance data have also been used to determine the presence or absence of different type of dyes from bog vegetation in lowland areas and to detect the number of pollutants such as oil and certain industrial wastes. Many important characteristics of water such as dissolved oxygen concentration, pH values, salt concentration which cannot be observed directly through the changes in the water reflectance. However, such parameters sometimes correlate with the observed reflectance. Thus, there are many complex interrelationships between the spectral reflectance of water and particular characteristics. Variation in the spectral reflectance in the visible region can be used to differentiate shallow and deep water, clear and turbid water, as well as rough and smooth water bodies. Reflectance in the near infrared region is generally used for delineating the water bodies and also to study the algal bloom and phytoplankton concentration in water. More details on the applications for remote sensing for monitoring water quality parameters can be found in the book written by Nagesh Kumar and Reshmi Devi. Further details about the spectral characteristics of vegetation, soil, and water can also be referred from the book authored by Swain and Davis, written in 1978. Now, let's move further and talk about the spectral reflectance curve of some natural features. Which natural features which we have left? Sample spectral reflectance curves of some of the natural features which we have not covered, like snow, is been shown here. See the particular graph which I am currently presented in the image form in the presentation has features of snow, healthy and stretched vegetation, dry soil, turbid water, and clear water all together, and you can clearly see the difference in all these natural features. And using this type of curve, characterization of different type of features can be done and classifications can be done. In a multispectral image, multiple sensors are used to sense the reflectance in different wavelength bands. reflectance recorded in multiple bands are analyzed to find how the spectral reflectance varies with wavelength. Using the average spectral reflectance curves as the basic information, the spectral reflectance variation is used to identify the target feature. For example, as you can see in the image provided below in this presentation, clearly you can see the aerial photograph of stadium in normal color and in infrared color are shown. In normal color photograph, the artificial turf can be seen inside the stadium and the natural vegetation outside the stadium appears in the same color. But on the other hand, the IR color photograph help us to differentiate both very clearly. You can see the green region within the stadium and the green region outside the stadium, we can't differentiate exactly in this particular near, we can say, normal color photograph, but in IR photograph you can clearly see this particular, and you can differentiate it what is the vegetation and what is a turf, a ground. The artificial turf appears dark in tone, whereas the natural vegetation shows high reflectance in the IR region. Spectral reflectance curves of the natural vegetation and the artificial turf, which is shown in the next image. Just a minute. Yes, here you can clearly see the spectral reflectance curve of the natural vegetation and the artificial turf, and you can clearly see the difference that in human eye, within the range of human eye, the curve is almost same, but in infrared region there is a vast difference, and that's how we are classifying this data. I hope you have enjoyed this lecture. For today's lecture, this is done. We have talked about spectral reflectance curve, about vegetation on soil and water and different natural features. We also seen how do we differentiate it with the example of normal reflectance and I may say normal image camera and a IR camera. How the spectral features differentiate and how it has been shown in this image. Hope you have enjoyed this session, you have enjoyed this lecture, and if you have any query, feel free to contact me. Besides, during this lecture I have given you some reference books. You can refer to it if you want to know more about this particular characterization of spectral reflectance curve domain. So students and listeners, till then, goodbye, have a nice day, be safe.